Right, so I'm going to replace these aftermarket headlights on my ISF with the factory ones that were in there before. But this time I'm going to replace the lens. Instead of restoring them, I just thought, let's replace the lens, make them look very nice and new. So here is the headlight off my ISF, and the first thing you need to do is, well, basically put it in the oven, heat it up so we can actually melt the rubber sealant holding it on, and then you can pull the lens off to put the other one on. Sounds simple on paper, but I don't think it's going to be. But let's whack it in the oven, 100 degrees for 10 minutes and see how it goes. So it is in the oven. You can't see it, but it's in there. Been 5 minutes, another 5 to go. Time is of the essence here. So let's undo the screws, which I should have undone before I put it in. So you have these clips, so lift them up, like so, and you have them all the way around. Don't do that. Luckily it's holding the screws as well, so it shouldn't be a big deal, but don't do that. It's a good start, but I'm going to have to whack it back in because I think it's cooled down. I should have undone these screws before and then start prying it. I did break that one clip, but it is held in by clips and screws, so one clip isn't so bad, and it was bound to happen. So I'm going to chuck it back in for another 5 minutes, still at 100 degrees, and see what happens. This is one of those jobs, like any, where the correct tool would be, helpful in these situations, like a pry tool, something, other than a flathead screwdriver to get it out. Anyway, got it out, and what I'm doing here is just pushing down the channel with a screwdriver, so just that sealer, make sure it's all flat. Here I am taking the chrome insert out of the old lens, put it in the new lens. Okay, so now we've got the two lenses here, the new one and the old one, and I've got some butyl tape, or however you say it, which is basically just the adhesive which is on this one, which I need to put into the channel of the headlight and then seat it back in. So basically the same process but backwards, so warm it up. So this stuff is a bit, well, it's tacky as it is, but when it's warm it obviously molds in and you can squeeze it in and then it can sit in properly and attach there. So step one is put the chrome insert into this new lens. Step two, put this into the channel of the headlight unit. Step three, put the lens back on, try and clip it in, warm it up, and it should pull in and seat in. Bosh. See the sealant around the outside? There's like a channel almost where this sealant sits. Once you seal this up, you can't clean it, so bear that in mind. Don't touch these bits, don't get fingerprints because you can't clean it. This edge has got to go in, cut through that and sit in the middle of this. So we're going to put it on, try and do the screws up to hold it in, let it warm up, and then it becomes more malleable, and then we can squeeze it together, compress it together, and then when it cools down, should set, should be good. Anyway, you get the idea. Apply pressure as much as possible, put it back in the oven, and then keep applying pressure. Clamps all round if you have them. If not, use some manpower, some elbow grease. New lens on the headlight. Looking crispy. Now to do the next one. Yes! Oh, that was harder than the first one. Here I am just repeating the process of putting the sealant tape in the channel and squeezing the lens on. Right, so after all that, new lenses are on. Now it's a case of getting the old headlights with the new lenses back on the car and taking these VLANDs back off. So unfortunately that means for the 1 day a year it's actually hot in the UK, I have to take this bumper off by myself on the floor. It's going to be fun. So let's get started. Just a case of taking off some plastic trims on the top, a couple sort of plasticky clips on either wheel arch, and just 10 mils along the bottom. I did do a more in-depth video when I put these headlights in originally. If you want to check that out, click up there. If not, watch this. Cheers. So we have to take this out of where it was in ignition 2 and replace it with an original 10 amp. So this top 10 amp is where it was. Take it out and then we can feed this out. And take this headlight out as well. Alright, so now both the lights are out. I didn't have to fully take the bumper off, partly being lazy, partly due to the fact I've got bubble wrap. There's only me, so it makes it easier to put back on if I don't fully take off, because you've got connections down here for the fog lights, the headlight wash, etc. It's actually going surprisingly alright. Did that relatively quickly, putting it back in. And as long as these headlights don't leak, which to be honest, I don't see how they will, considering the amount of sealant and how I sealed it up, I don't see them leaking, but if they do, that's the only bad thing. Yeah, other than that, we'll crack on. I'll do some cleaning and yeah, cool. Oh, also while I'm here, if you could subscribe and like, I'd appreciate it. That's the thing people say. Cheers. So on the VLANs I've taken off, you can see the bracket at the bottom, similar to the install of the VLANs. If you saw that video, if you didn't, don't bother, because this basically does the same thing. This bracket at the bottom needs to come off and be put on the other, well, the headlights that are going back on. I actually did it the other way around, obviously, to put the VLANs on in the first place. Now just repeating the process, but backwards, and then I can put the headlights back on the car, as you can see in time lapse. Each one of these time lapses was 10 minutes. Apparently it took me ages to do this, but you know, it was hot. Yeah, and the other one is on, just installing the right one now, just making sure it's in position and adjusting it, bosh. Okay, so now the headlights are back in, both sides as you can see, just plugged them in. Now what I need to do is reinstall the 7.5 amp I took out on the passenger footwell. There's a footwell fuse box for the AFS, and then I'll turn the ignition on, make sure the lights are working and it's all good before I do the bumper up, in case, you know, it doesn't work and then you got to go back and everything, so bosh. The fuse box in there, 7.5 amp. The one I took out before, I kept in a safe place, and then whoop, under there somewhere, but it's bloody hot in this car, so I'll show you in a second. So I've just got out the fuse box lid, so we're looking for, that's a good point, I can't remember what it was. I think it might be headlight level. If that's empty, I don't know it's that one, but it's definitely 7.5 HLP level. And then put it back in. So this is going to be difficult to test on my own, but basically going to turn it on, and hopefully no warning lights. So if the AFS isn't working, there'll be an AFS warning light, so we'll just turn it on all the way. Hopefully no lights, all good. Obviously handbrake, door, seatbelt, minor. And now I'm going to turn so I've got auto lights, but we'll turn them on. That's the headlight thing, so that's good. I'm just going to put the hazards on as well, because that's a good way to test your indicators are working. And you can see the indicators and the headlights are both working and looking crispy. Looking very good with the new lenses. You can see it very clear through there, and they're all on. No errors, so I can get on with putting the bumper back on. And here I am putting the bumper back on my own. A lot easier than I thought it was, but I've done this 2 or 3 times now. More than any other car I've owned. So that's, well, that's probably testament to me not taking off many bumpers apparently, but yeah, pretty simple. It's just 10 mils along the bottom and a couple bolts on the side, and it's just clips. It's basically just having the guts to pull it when it feels like it's resisting, but it's just clips, as long as you make sure everything's undone. Right, finished product, it's going. I'll overlay some B-roll right now so you can see what the headlights look like, but I'm happy with how it looks, back to standard pretty much. This paired with the silver wheels, although it's filthy right now, I think it looks a whole lot better. Yeah, it was a bit of a pain in the arse, I can't lie, but an experience I enjoyed. Apologies for this filming because my tripod isn't working properly, so you're basically on the floor right now. But yeah, drop me a subscribe. More content coming with this. Basically, I'm preparing it for my road trip in Europe, so lots of videos from Europe coming, Nürburgring laps, etc. Hopefully laps, Alps, Stelvio Pass, etc, etc. So yeah, drop me a follow and a subscribe. A follow and a subscribe. Drop me a subscribe, I'd appreciate it. Thank you very much. Cheers. Okay, bumper's back on. Right, finished product. Car's working, headlights are working. Car's working? Didn't even touch the car. Like that. I'll do that again.